やっぱり好き。
シルさん。なんで僕。
愛の女神が目の前にいるのに他の女の名前を出すなんて一体どういうつもり？こんな侮辱初めて受けたわ。
すいません。
All right, my friends, we have Danmachi episode 7, and I am liking this more and more. I was completely absorbed this episode. I was really entertained this episode. I was just having a grand old time, and I was like, yes. And I am so happy that we're finally at this turning point, because I will tell you, the first like 4 or 5 episodes, the whole kind of seer arc, I was not a fan of. I thought it was a big wet fart. It has been a big letdown. I think it was even worse than the weenie stuff or whiny weenie, whatever. I think weenie, right? I think it was even worse than the weenie stuff that kind of went on for way too freaking long. And I was just like, man, this just feels like Haruhime all again. I mean, you guys know I'm not going to repeat everything that I said if you've been watching my content. I've just basically said, like, I feel like this is another arc for another thing that we've seen before. Now we're into the Frey arc, and I'm like, okay, now I think this is really getting good. Like, it's manipulative, it's gaslighting, like, okay, okay. And, you know, as I'm watching this episode, again, I was really absorbed, and I was, like, on bated breath watching the episode. I thought it was, like, a 9 out of 10. It's really good stuff. As I'm watching the episode, though, I can't help but think that Freya gave up too early. Like, obviously, you know, surrounding Bell, you have his whole harem, right? It starts with Hestia, and then you have Lily Pad or Lily whatever her name is, and then you have Haruhime, and it's just the list kind of like, you know, the list goes down for girls, you know, all the way to, you know, Eyes what's her face over there to Cassandra over here this way. So Freya's competition is pretty big. It's a pretty wide pool. And then you add in his thoughts of Seer in there as well, too. But I can't help but thinking that if she went about this differently, that in the long run, because we know that shit's going to hit the fan. We know that it's going to be, you know, the Hestia Familia or, you know, some mishposh of characters versus the Freya Familia somewhere down the line. I can't help but thinking that could have been avoided if she just went about it differently. But I think she broke too early, and because she wasn't able to get what she wanted, you know, this was like her last ditch effort to get Belle. And I kind of realized that when Belle was there kind of talking to her, and, you know, he's at the point where he's still questioning everything, but at this point he's just kind of having back and forth dialogue and conversation with Freya as a girl, not a goddess, just like as a girl. And I think that, you know, they're making some relationship headway there. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, man, I can't help but think that, you know, if she didn't decide to do what she has been doing and has done, that she could have gotten through to Belle somewhere down the line in the future, but she just got too anxious and she wanted him like right this second. Which is just going to end up biting her in the ass later, and she might have a rehash of the other Familia where the goddess got sent back to heaven. It may end up with her ass getting sent back to heaven because she's going to lose, you know what I mean? So not only does she not get Belle in the long run, but then she's probably going to lose everything else that matters to her too. So yeah, I also like seeing Freya as a girl as well. You know, not the goddess, because even though that she still has her goddess tendencies, and you get it, right? Like, I think we can all understand, hey, you live too long, life gets boring at some point, whether it's year 100, 1,000, or 3,000, at some point life gets boring. So you can kind of sympathize, or at least put yourself in her shoes of the way that she views people, you know, as expendable, and just kind of like they come and go because, you know, like her life never ends, but there's ends and it doesn't last for long. You can imagine that at some point you may have demented thoughts too and begin to kind of just like play, you know, role play and just like, you know, have fun. So you can kind of get where she's coming from. Now, is it right? Is it the way you should? No, you know, it's all very wrong, but you can understand it. But I like how the Ryuu stuff really is hitting her really strongly because I think she genuinely did make a friend in Ryuu. I think she genuinely cares for her. She just can't quite grasp it or understand it because it might have been either so long since she's made a genuine connection like that with a non member of the opposite sex. It might just be like she hasn't really dealt with that in so long or never dealt with that. So I think it's really hitting home with her. And I like how kind of Belle was able to immediately notice like, hey, something's wrong with you. And I was like, God damn, Belle, you got it, man. And that just made Freya fall even deeper with her. And then she had the moment where she's looking at the brooch that he bought her. And like, she's just a girl in love right now, to her own demise, essentially. Then I really like the fact that we found out that the lady, you know, the big buff lady who runs the tavern, she didn't get charmed. You know, the guy obviously, Aurora, I can't say his name, but the guy at the bottom, you know, with Felt or whatever, like he didn't get, you know, and Hestia, she's planning her stuff and everything else surrounding the episode, the fight, the cat girl and her story with Seer. And like, I thought all of that was really good too. And then obviously Belle with his training regimen, just getting stronger and stronger and stronger as he's trying to figure out what his next step is. So overall, episode 7, I just thought was really riveting. It was really, really good. It was really entertaining. And I'm so happy to hear it because, like, yes, I feel like we're finally turning a corner and my interest level has just shot up. And that really did start with Freya, but my interest level just kind of really shot up. And I'm like, yes, okay, now I'm really, really having a good time watching it. And that's important. So episode 7, I really thought was like a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. And I'm so happy for it. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you're on the opposite side of that coin. Totally cool. Hey, I was just on the opposite side a couple episodes ago. Let me know how you're feeling about the show. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. And obviously, try not to spoil anything, but let me know if it continues down this path of goodness. You know, give me a little hinty hint. All right, my friends, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.